Hey everyone, and welcome to On a Water Break. I'm Steven, and this is the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. And we're here to discuss the good, the funny, and sometimes even the challenging parts of the marching arts world. And this time, we go on a water break with Gonzaco.
8 off the mat and go.
Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
All right. Now, before we get to see who's on the sidelines this week, make sure you go subscribe, hit the notifications on your favorite listening app, write us a review, or share it with a friend. If you've got questions or a good topic to talk about, you can email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com or find us on social media and DM us if you want to be on the show. We've even got a form now that you could fill out if you want to be a guest, and we love having people on the podcast, so you could check it out at the link in our bio on social media. And now we've kept them on the bleachers long enough. Let's come on down to the sidelines and welcome to the podcast Gonzo and Mako, the performers better known as Gonzaco. Who we are excited to have join us on the call today. I love the the shades, the eyewear is giving me club vibes out here for sure. But I'm happy to have
it's always whether you're indoors, outdoors, doesn't matter. We gotta
I'm right there with you.
Prepare for the light that is constantly on us. So
the club lights.
Yeah. Gotta protect the eyes,
Everybody's watching and they shouldn't see where you're looking. I feel the same way in rehearsal all the time. I don't want my students to know where I'm looking. I'm wearing shades inside.
Exactly.
Well, I'm really excited to have you guys join our show today. We get our guests always to introduce us with a 32 count life story, and it gives us a great chance to get to know our guests right up front before we dig into some deeper questions here. But who wants to kick it off and give us the first 32 count life story here?
I'll go first.
Cool. Let's get in there, Gonzo. You'll get 8 and in off the mat.
Oh, man. All right. My name is Adrian Gonzalez. I go by Gonzo. I learned how to play bass drum when I was 12 years old in San Bernardino, which is in SoCal. I'm 26 now. So do the math. All right. My two main gigs right now are teaching RCC bass and being one half of Gonzaco. So, that's all I need. I don't even need the whole 32 minutes. I'm going to just let it ride.
7 bars right now. Nice. Well, I'm very happy to have you on the show, man. I'm sure you can't just skip right to teaching RCC. Where were you marching while you were, marching age?
So, I started in San Bernardino, and then after grade school, I did Pacific Crest. It was my first drum corps ever, my first summer out of high school. Didn't even know what drum corps was, honestly. The only reason I did drum corps is because bass drummers were telling me that was going to improve my odds of making RCC. I always wanted to be in RCC, and I was like, all right, how do I do it? And they were like, oh, do drum corps. And I was like, what is that? And then I just showed up and I made PC, so thankfully.
You always had your eye on the prize.
Yeah, literally everything I did within my drumming career was just to get to RCC. That was like the only thing I cared about. So I did PC, I did RCC marching band, I did POW, percussion, I did Blue Stars, and then after that I was in RCC, and then I made Blue Devils. So I did both of those groups like 18, 19, and 20.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
And after that, my first I've been teaching for a really long time, just teaching San Bernardino. But then I taught Pulse for 2 years, 22 and 23. I taught Dark Sky in 24, and now it's my first year at RCC. So
damn, I brought it all back full circle.
Yep.
12-year-old you would be so hype about this. We'll get more into that in a second. Why don't we actually catch up with Mako now? Mako, are you ready to give us your 32 count life story?
I think so.
All right, let's get in there.
My name is Mako. Before my whole drumline gig, I used to be a figure skater for 10 years, and then I injured my ankle, and then I ended up doing band. Before I played bass drum in freshman year of high school, I played vibes and snare drum, but that wasn't really my thing. Bass drum was the place to be. So after that, I loved bass drum, and then I had to age myself out a little early in 2021, and post-band, now I'm a nurse. And Adrian brought me out of the dark archives, and now we're back and doing Gonzako. So that's my life story.
Nice.
Right on time.
Okay, so let's get back into, well, actually, before we get into Gonzaco, what was your marching career like, since we got a whole big recap from Gonzo?
Yeah, so for me, actually, so I told you I did vibes in 8th grade because my brother was in high school, so I was able to do like the program because I was related to him, and so as an 8th grader, they let me do it. So I was like, okay, might as well just do something. So played vibes. That was really hard. And then I made snare drum my freshman year, which was like really surprising. I was like, okay, I guess. But I played bass drum that winter, and I was like, this is it. Like, this is something that I love doing. This is great. So
if you know, you know.
Yeah, I was like, bass is the place. Like, I'm gonna stay bass drummer. Like, I want to play bass drum. And so a few years after that, our winter program at the high school wasn't really a thing anymore. So I actually ended up quitting the high school program, and I ended up going independent my junior year of high school. So I marched OCI, which ended up becoming Vessel in 18. And then after that, I marched RCC after that. And then I've been at RCC. That's like my winter side. And then in DCI side, I marched Watchmen, which is an open class group in SoCal. We didn't even go the full tour. Like, we stopped at the SoCal championships and that was it. But it was perfect for what I needed. And then after that, I took a break in 17. And then in 18, I marched Mandarins. And then in 2019, I made Blue Devils, and then was supposed to be there in 2020, but you know, but I know, sadness. But now I'm doing the whole Gonzaco thing. Like I said, Adrian brought me out of the archives. It's been a while since, you know, I got to perform and play stuff like this, until I believe it was the base camp. That was like the first like big thing that I got to do since, you know, the whole COVID thing happened. So I was like, you know what, like, I'm down to keep doing this. Like, let's keep writing stuff. Let's keep playing some cool stuff, and, you know, keep loving on our favorite instrument in the world. So
that's awesome. He really did like pull you out of the depth chart then.
It's truly.
Like reached back 5 years.
Just grabbed me out of the...
He was like, yeah, I know exactly the girl.
It's not that cool with just one person. Like, you need at least one other person. Like,
yeah, I've never seen anyone make bass drum look cool on their own. Like, one person playing bass drum is a tough one.
Yeah.
One person splitting themselves is just snare drum.
Playing snare drum on like a 22-inch bass drum. No way. Couldn't be me. But so Gonzaco, you said it first formed in 2019, and then there was a little bit of a hiatus here, but what was Gonzaco like in 2019?
Yeah, this is actually a funny story. Like, so obviously, like, we're still doing our thing, but this stretches back all the way to 2019, which is like 6 years ago now. It literally started because Mako and I were marching RCC, and we were in full battery at rehearsal. And Stephen, you play bass drum, so you understand how it goes. Like, it's supposed to be full battery, but it's actually just like a snare section.
It's a snares world, and we're just living in it.
Yeah. So it's a snare section.
You have to be here. Don't be late. You have to be here.
Exactly. It was like a hurry up and wait. So we're like hurry up and waiting. And the upper battery had like this section of the show where it was just them, and so they're repping that. And then our bass tech, Dan Wall, he goes up to Mako and I, and he's like, one of you should play the right hand, and the other one should play the left hand of that lick right there. And I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, that's kind of a good idea. And then
okay.
And yeah, that
like
just kind of like...
Yeah, the snare lick, right? Or...
Yeah. It was like a segment of the show. uh,
Yeah.
where it was just the snares and quads. And yeah, Dan, he was just like, yeah, Mako, you should play the right hand, and Adrian, you should play the left hand of that, of whatever that is. And so I was like, oh, that's actually a really cool idea. So that stuck in the back of my head, and I was like, hey, Mako, do you want to like try and do that, like, you know, like
Hmm.
next week or something? Like, we might as well just like film it, you know, like why just do it for nothing? And
Yeah.
so Devin, who is a really talented, like, just camera guy and editor, he did our most recent video, and he did our very first video as well because he was working with
Oh,
RCC at
wow.
the time, and all of us are like the same age, so we were all like just like real fresh, and so yeah, Devin was super down. He was like, "Yeah, I'll just show up and film you guys." And yeah, that was literally our first video. It was like Devin, who it came out really good because Devin is just awesome. So it was like a really high quality video,
Hmm.
and it's literally Mako and I just like we did a rep of it unison, and then we did a rep where Mako did the right hand and I did the left hand, and like that was literally the video. And we posted it on Instagram.
I think it's just
CC base.
RCC base, yeah.
So
Okay.
it's on there. It's also on Devin's YouTube channel. It's Devin Asmus.
We
And
should
that
dig that
was
up and
literally our
get it
first
on the
video. And
Airbase
it was
page.
literally just because our bass tech was like, you do right hand, you do left hand, just during a snare sectional. So yeah, that was the first video ever.
Dang. That's crazy. And then you were just always recalling back to that one 5 years later when the moment came up. Matt Walters approached you and you were like, I can't do it alone.
Yeah. We done a couple videos in between.
Oh,
We
you did?
did we did one with marching vlogs in
Okay.
Right.
2020, I think, right, Mako?
Yep.
We did one with marching vlogs at the Lone Star Percussion store. Rip to that store. I think it's called SoCal Drums now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did one in 2020. That's when we had a long hiatus. Then we did Base Camp, thanks
Yeah.
to Matt Walters. And then, yeah, we did our most recent one.
Yeah. Well, the most recent one is a huge production. I want to talk about that one some more in a minute. But with the ones on the first one, were those like getting shared around a lot? Were they? I want to try to think back, but I'm not sure if it got over to me on the East Coast.
I don't think we were doing like a lot of like promotion at that time. We were just like, let's make
Yeah.
something cool and just like post it and just like, like have some fun, whatever.
Mhm.
And I don't think
Well,
we
we
did
should
too much of like,
definitely.
oh, like check this out, So
Well, I definitely think we should reshare that one now. We've got some good pages we could blast
I'm
that one through.
down.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
did.
pull it out of the archives, if you will.
Exactly.
But
It was posted on RCC Base because that's the baseline we were in.
right,
And
yeah,
that has a
okay.
huge following, obviously.
Yeah,
So I think it had pretty good amount of like people saw it for sure. Uh,
nice.
we do plan on reposting all of our older videos. So that's kind of like a part of why we did what we most recently did, which is like start a YouTube channel, is because we started to realize like, okay, this seems to be something we enjoy to do and
Yeah.
that we want to continue doing. And so a big reason why we even started a YouTube channel in the first place was so that it was all we could start putting things all in one place because we noticed that all of our content was like scattered throughout the internet.
Hmm.
So we started kind of late, obviously, but we had no idea it was going to get to this point. So we were just doing it
Well,
because it was fun. And
you
so
say you started
now,
kind of late, but I feel
yeah,
like there's so few people that actually produce like independent band content like what you guys made, especially in bass drum world, but even throughout like most of the rest of it. Like people aren't really going and making their own artistic like marching arts styled content, even though, you guys are getting far away from it in a good artistic way.
yeah. And in a lot of ways, it feels like we're learning everything for the first time. So, and this is one of those weird things where it's like, okay, what do we do with the old content? So I'm kind of thinking like, I think YouTube has like a thing where you can post on your channel and it says like featured in. So I'm hoping maybe you could do that. Like, I could just ask Devin, like, hey, can you add me as a feature to that old video? And then
Okay.
hopefully it shows up on our channel, you know? So
Yeah,
these
like
are
a
like the
collab
weird
post.
things that we've literally never thought about that
Hmm.
now we got to think about. Like, okay, how do we get everything in one spot from the past. Moving forward is going to be really easy,
Yeah.
but from the past, I don't know.
Like,
We got to figure that out.
Yeah, that's tough because it's like you could re-upload it, but you really want to gather all of, like the initial comments and all the like engagement that it had and let that be a part of your new page. Give it like credibility to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
I don't
tricky.
really have an answer. We got to figure that out.
yep.
Well, that's
Slowly but
the
surely.
as long as you just keep down the road, it'll keep on the snowball keeps on growing the more you just post and upload. But so let's talk a little bit about the video. I don't even know that we really told the audience here the video if they're not familiar yet. Do you want to walk through more bass into club and tell the listeners kind of what you guys produced if they haven't seen it themselves?
Mako, let's show them our lock screen.
Oh yeah, it's true. Here, let
I don't know
me.
if this works, but y'all, if you haven't seen the video, go watch that. Okay, I'm sure it'll be in the description.
Oh yeah, we got
Also,
two options.
Gotta hit him with the.
hit them with that. Take a screenshot, take a picture, scan that. All right,
Nice.
like
No, that's actually
I'm gonna
so
give
cool.
y'all
I
some
love that.
time.
We will
The
definitely
rest of the podcast will probably make way more sense if y'all watch
yeah,
that first.
pause the podcast right now. The
Watch
link
the
will be in
vid.
the description. Go watch the video if you haven't seen it yet. It's sick. It's very well produced.
And also shout out to
Now,
On a Water Break for the love on the video.
All our sponsors.
Cannot forget that.
Can't
and
forget.
fourth block.
And fourth block.
Honestly, should have had them on here. Wasn't thinking. Shoot. But yeah, tell
They've been up there before already. It's all good.
yeah, they get enough. They get enough
Yeah.
action.
Give us some time. Give us some love.
Let them
Give us our moment. Let us have our moment.
Well, here's your moment. Tell the audience a little bit about the production, and then maybe we can get into what it was like actually making it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, the first time we ever met Lou, which is fourth block, was at bass camp. So they did a whole bass performance. Obviously, I've seen their videos in the past, but I've never like met them face to face. Only individually with the bass drummer specifically. But afterwards, Lou messaged me and was like, "Hey, like we should get something going." And I was like, "You know what? That sounds good. Like that sounds like a good idea." And then I brought it to Adrian. Adrian was down, and we were trying to think of different ideas, like what to do for the music video, what would make it different. And I was like, what if we made, obviously we do our duet thing, but what if we like did a 4 bass drum? Like that was like my first initial idea. I was like, why don't we just do like a 4 bass drum thing with just us two? Like I don't even know how we'll make it possible, but like something like that. And then after that, Adrian started looking at inspo music, and I don't know if you want to talk about more of that, but yeah. And then we started kind of listening to different types of genres, kind of figured out that we want that like hyper pop style. And then immediately Lou was like, we sent them the inspo music, and Lou was like, yes, like this is the one. I don't know if you want to break down the song.
Yeah. Yeah, what's super funny about like why we did this project was it literally just happened because we met Lou and we saw Fourth Block perform live, and it seemed like Lou was cool. So like that was literally the only reason why we agreed to do this, because Lou seemed like a cool person, and so we have never like really set out to do anything like more bass in the club. We really were just like going with the flow. As far as I remember, like we were literally just listening to like this new album that we found by Miss Bashful.
Okay.
So it's by Miss Bashful. I'm not gonna say the title because I don't think you can
your own research.
The song is called Mushy Mushy, but it's a really cool song and we love listening to it. And it was just like I don't know, it's just like you gotta like pull your creative ideas out of like what the universe like hands to you or like presents in front of you. And so when you like preconceive things too much, one, I think it's more frustrating, and two, it doesn't come off as authentic. And so that's really what just spoke to us was like that song, and we were like really jamming to it in like the car in front of our place, and it was like, yeah, this this is it right here. Like this is I'm really feeling this. We were both really feeling it. We could totally feel like the tempo, and so yeah, we kind of based it off that song, which is a Miss Bashful song called Mushy Mushy, and just the more we got into the process, I think the more evident the idea became clear. So I guess what I mean by that is first the song was something that we just genuinely felt and enjoyed listening to. The next step was telling Lou, "Hey, we really like this song." And then the next step was Lou sending a demo. That was the next thing that happened, and it was a really really good demo.
Hmm.
And I think at that point is when like the floodgates opened, and I remember Mako and I just like brainstorming our butt off, like just from that one demo, on just like very like broad ideas that we had, and like I remember Mako bringing up like I think the club whole so it's a very much of a representation of like our life as well. Like Mako
Mm.
just recently moved into downtown Riverside, and so I hang out with Mako a lot at her place, and downtown Riverside is like one of
Club
like
scene.
yeah, one of
Oh,
like
okay.
the best club scenes like in the country supposedly. Supposedly is this guy that we randomly met one day. Okay, so look, we were okay, story time. All right? Story time.
This is a core memory for us.
We have to tell this story, all right, people? We got
Please,
this.
please tell us.
We met this random dude. This dude was like, "Yo," had an epiphany. Like his mind was blown. He was like, "Yo, I've been all over the country. Miami, New York, Houston." But he's like Riverside,
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah. I swear this happened. And he was like, but downtown Riverside, crazy.
We were like,
And
what?
we're like, oh, all right.
Okay, RCC.
So yeah, downtown Riverside is just like a really big club scene, and so we see it like every night, and I think that had like an impact on just the music we've been listening to lately, and I think it also had an impact on like our ideas when we were thinking of this video. So yeah, we're like it has to be in the club. We got to make a club,
No, I
and
like
like
that.
um, Mako thought of a whole bunch of ideas. Like she was like, "What if we played like it's two of us, but what if we play like on four drums?" And I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. No, that's really smart. You guys, that was like I&E style, right? Like the drums are on the ground.
We did a lot of different variations, yeah. So that's kind
Yeah.
of so yeah, it was just like one step at a time, basically. Like just whatever ideas came throughout the process. A lot of the initial ideas made it, but the final product was a lot different than what we initially anticipated, and that's a good thing, you know? Um
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the times you hear artists talk about how like some of their best moments in art were either like happy little accidents or they'll just talk about things just flowing right out of them. Like when the vibe is right and when you're like inspired by something, you just really go right for like these ideas that come to your head right away.
And I feel
Um
like what really helps too is that Adrian and I, like, we work really well together. We're always really open minded to each other's ideas. So, like Adrian said, even if, the original like idea didn't make it into the final product, it was something that
right.
we both were able to work on together to like produce it into something that we really wanted to do in the final product. And so there's always just open communication going back and forth, just a pool of ideas, and then kind of evolving it into like exactly what we want it to be,
Yeah.
which is always fun because it's things are always changing, things are always, like you said, evolving into something better, or like you said, it comes naturally, which is really something that helps in the creative process. It doesn't feel like one person's just taking over and doing everything on their own,
Yeah,
which is something
definitely.
that was awesome, especially working with Lou. We've never worked with Lou for a project before, so Lou was exactly the same way. So it just made the creative process super easy for us, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what's really cool too about not being in the competitive space of band and like exploring that space, whether it's in like a professional drumline environment or if it's in like your own artistic, creative environment. But like once you loosen yourself from those competitive restrictions, you have like so much more freedom to just do what you want to do. You don't have to do what other people want you to do. Now, especially for a bass drummer, like it's crazy because we're very rarely doing what we want to do. But the second that you just
Yeah.
take it on yourself to make something independent, now you can do awesome stuff.
So, yeah, I think like I don't even know if we answered your question, but like to make us more clear, like a big part of why we do this is exactly what you said. I think like a hard thing to define is like what is creativity, and like I think people have like different definitions for it, but like for me, I kind of like have like two little like subdivisions for what I think creativity is. Um, I think one definition, like one subcategory of creativity is that, the ability to like take something normal and use it in an abnormal way.
Hmm.
And the second part to creativity, which you just touched on, was like, I think just having ownership of your ideas. And I think that was the part that I felt like I was missing in my drumming career.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I've been involved with it for a long time since like I was 12 years old, and I'm really thankful for like all of the opportunities I've gotten since then. Like just being a bass tech, just being the guy and just learning and like working under like I also feel like I've just been blessed to work under like really good designers like Michael Cooper in San Bernardino, Sean Vega at RCC, Tony Nunez now at RCC. I watched John Mapes at Pulse. Like I've had like an awesome
Yeah.
opportunity to like watch really creative people like do their thing, and I really appreciate it. But I do think now I was at the point where I was like, like I'm missing ownership in my own ideas, and I want to go and explore that. So that's like a big part of like what feels really good about the project we just did, more based in the club. And I think what motivated, I can't, Mako can speak for herself, obviously, but like for me personally, what really motivated me to like take on this huge project, because it was a lot of work. Was that just like the one time that a very unique opportunity to
Hmm.
like have ownership in my ideas. And
All right. Well, we will get to a quick commercial here, but when we get back, we're going to get back off of the floor and talk about more independent creative bass drumming projects on our own. And we'll be right back with you.
Celebrating its 25th anniversary, Guard Closet was founded as a consignment shop in 2000. Since then, it has grown to become your one-stop shop for the marching arts.
Do you need consignment uniforms and flags for your color guard, marching band, or drumline? We have thousands of sets of consignments in stock and ready to ship.
Do you need show design and custom choreography? Our designers have years of experience in the marching arts.
Do you need to sell your items and clear out your storage areas? We take in more than 600 sets of consignments each year and return hundreds of thousands of dollars to our consigners for their sales.
Do you need to have your students order shoes, gloves, and other equipment? We can set up a microsite for easy student ordering of a wide variety of items.
Do you need custom costumes or flags? We can help get you great designs from our team through top vendors like Show Day Designs.
Have you listened to our podcast On a Water Break? Weekly episodes and bonus content keep you entertained and informed with what's going on in the marching arts.
For over 25 years, Guard Closet has been here to help. Check us out at guardcloset.com or follow us on social media.
All right, and we are back with Gonzaco here, and I want to know more about the actual day that you guys shot More Bass into Club. Sounds like there was a lot going on that day, lots of preparation went into it, so why don't you give us the little rundown, Mako, of what the day was like?
Of course. Yeah, so first things first, just getting all the equipment together. It was a pretty high production, so we had a bunch of effects, a bunch of props, a bunch of things going on. So making sure all that stuff was put together. And then to thank our audience members that came and took time out of their Saturday night to come work with us. I picked up like 8 boxes of pizza from Costco,
Okay.
grabbed all
Nice.
the refreshments, and we all met up at this thrift store actually in Riverside. There was a place that Adrian and I like to shop at, hang out at. They have a bunch of cool things going on, and in the back part, it's like this big warehouse. It's all cleared out. And so we're like, oh, this is a perfect place. So we all met up at this thrift store warehouse looking thing.
Uh-huh.
People were starting to roll in. We were starting to get stuff together. And we were getting a little nervous because we only had obviously like a specific amount of time to shoot all this stuff. I think it was like from like 8 to like 10:30. But obviously with the setup and the lighting, it took a little bit of time to make sure everything was perfect. So Adrian and I were getting a little stressed, but it was okay because it ended up working out. Thankfully, the thrift store person that was there like helping us out was super chill. So she's like, it's all good. Like, take your time. We're good. So we probably started shooting around 8 o'clock. Everyone started rolling in around 7:30. And Adrian is like the most meticulous, like organized planner. Like,
nice.
It is crazy. He had a whole like script and times on how long we need to spend on each segment of the video. And we didn't record the actual track in order, like different scenes and stuff, because obviously there's a different, like a lot of configurations, a lot of different setups, different bass drum setups, all that, and it took time to go from one setup to the other. So we organized it in a way where we can go seamlessly from one setup and just shoot all the scenes in that one setup to the next setup, shoot all those scenes in that setup. So Adrian had a breakdown of every single thing. Scene 1, this time to this time. Scene 2, this time to this time. And all the pictures of how each scene should look. So everything was just like boom, 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 boom. Like quick, once we started, we were going. Going.
That's so professional.
Yeah, and it honestly, like, I think it helped Devin too, because he kind of had an idea of what angles he needs to get. So we already had a visual of what we wanted. So then we just had to tell him, all right, we're going to shoot this scene now. And then he'll just kind of do his thing. And then he'll kind of like signal us from the back, like, all right, 2 more takes, 3 more takes. And then once we're done, all right, next thing, let's go. And then we just had Lou actually put tracks, like loop tracks to each scene. So then we could just get take after take after take after take. And once we had the next scene, Lou would just put on the next loop. And then we just did get our takes, get our angles, see what we needed to do. And yeah, everything went really smoothly. And the cool thing was our audience members, they understood the assignment. They got it. We did not even have to tell them like what to do. Yeah, like it was crazy because once we saw the final product, we're like, dude, our homies, they just knew what was up. Like, this was crazy. Like, we just told them we don't want this to be like a scripted, like, oh, do this while we're doing this. Like, we're like, just vibe out, have a good time. Like, if you need to take a break, come back whenever you feel like coming back. Like, and it just felt really natural when we were doing all the tracks, all the loops, all that stuff. Everyone was just vibing out, having a good time. So honestly, like, I think even though leading up to the day was kind of stressful, getting all the logistics ironed out, like the day of, I don't think it could have gone any smoother because of how well Adrian just planned out the shoot day. It just honestly was a really fun time for us, just getting good shots, having fun, clubbing out, have that clubbing vibe. And a funny story too, like I said, it's a thrift store. So there's a lot of like random people coming in and out. And so there was actually a couple of people that ended up that couldn't make it. But there was like a group of like 6 random girls that just like showed up at the end of like, because the closing hours, I think it was like right before we started. So these girls just walked in and the shopkeeper was like, hey, like, there's a music video shoot going on in the back. You guys want to check it out? And they just showed up and they're like, hey, like, I heard there's a music video going on. Like, can we join? I was like, yeah, you can join. And they were getting down on the dance floor. They were doing some crazy moves. One girl had a cane. She was like whipping it around. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, it was really,
She really was whipping that cane too.
yeah, it was a fun night. I was like, dude, I did not expect this turnout, but it was great. Like, honestly,
Yeah,
a
it's a
great
party.
day. Yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah, well, it actually brings me back to what we were talking about earlier when we were describing how you don't see a lot of like independent creative projects in band. When I was making my bass lick back in 2022 with my friend Didisi, it was so crazy to me, the whole like process of filming a music video is like, because you're so used to like the real time live rep being the thing. But when, at least when we did our lick, we treated it like a studio project. Like we recorded the audio fully separately, different day, different facility, nice mics, very controlled, and then even like produced that audio out in Logic and everything. And then we had, much like you guys, though yours was a way bigger production than ours, we still had like a fun day. It was like we knew one scene was the UD Arena. We knew another scene was at our rehearsal facility. We had another scene like at the trailer in the woods that I lived in that season near our rehearsal facility.
Yeah.
But like actually doing it like a music video, at least to me, felt like so cool because it's so foreign to what you're used to in band. Did you guys feel anything like that?
Yeah, like, so we just watched your video. That video is awesome.
Thank you. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that is like a cool thing about that, like I'm super proud of like Gonzako doing already thus far. I mean, we only have like 4 videos, but they're all like pretty different as far as like the environment we were in. So, for example, like more based in the club, we did a similar thing. We did all the audio separately in a professional studio with really good mics, which Lou helped us a lot with. We had never done that before. That was all Lou with Fourth Block. So shout out to Lou.
Lou's the goat.
Yeah, Lou is literally the goat. Really quick, before I even answer the question, really quick, shout out to Lou. Mixing bass drum, like just the mixing process of like making like recording a marching bass drum and having it actually mixed well. There's like probably less than a handful of, I would argue there's probably less than a handful of people like in the country that could actually do, in the world really, that could like really do that well. And Lou is one of those people. So like Lou is super, super valuable to us now. And like, hopefully Lou is down to keep working with us because
I think
I don't know how we're going to do without them, honestly. So, but anyways, to answer the question, like we did that a separate day, and the day of the shoot was more so, it was like 2 things happening at the same time. It was our direct team filming a music video. At the same time, it was an event with a crowd of people, which we had to like both be responsible for, and 2, like had to be a good time. It had to be a good hang. So, you know, Mako already said it, like we wanted it to feel as authentic as possible. And so I really didn't want to stress them out. I wanted it to just feel like a party because that's what the whole idea was, right? Us being in the club, partying in the club. And so we weren't going to get that by coordinating it. We were going to get that by telling people to like just be chill and have a good time. So that day was probably like the funnest thing I've ever done, probably. It was also like really stressful, but at the end of the day, it was probably like one of the coolest things we've ever done because it was both a party and music video. Like Matt Walters, he was one of the people in the crowd. He's like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, he was one of the people in the crowd. He was like, you know, one of me and Mako's mentors for sure. Just like, you know, doing RCC and coming up in SoCal. But he was there. And the next day, he like texted me. He was like, dude, if there were more warehouse drumline parties, I'd be at all of them.
Oh, wait, I'm starting to get a professional drumline idea here. Hold on.
Yeah. there were multiple people texting me. Like, I didn't ask them to. Like, the next day, there were multiple people being like, dude, yesterday was so fun. And I think that was what was super awesome about it. Not only did we get a video out, but like we did something really cool, like in person with people, and we all had a good time, like in the moment.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a video now, like where that moment just
Memories.
lives on theoretically forever until like the whole internet gets wiped out by like AI or something. Like, I don't know, it's really cool.
That is really cool. I never thought about the way that it catalogs that forever. It like makes the moment endure in a way, kind of, um, which is super cool. I've never thought about it that way. Do you guys think that you could have a club that featured a drumline doing something like more bass into club? Like
That
could
would
that
be
be a
awesome.
gigging? Could that be like a gigging ensemble that like
Also, did we not
held
talk
down a
about this?
residency?
Dude.
After doing this video, basically, like I really feel like between Mako and I, like a floodgate opened. We have no like shortage in ideas. We have
Okay.
shortage in like literally everything else, but in ideas, there's no
Ideas.
shortage, and that was definitely one of the ideas we
Real.
had. Is like imagine like making that a thing, like making like a lineup of like performers in the community and like renting out some space and making it just like a really cool thing to do. Yeah,
Well, dude, I
awesome.
think you could like make it a business, kind of. Like I think you would want to have like a pool of people because you can't need everyone at every gig. That'll never happen. But if you had like 25 age outs that all like knew this little packet, then you could start booking the line at like raves
That'd be
and stuff
crazy.
like that. And then you would actually be paying your people. They would be able to do the gig, go out, like have the party, play at it.
That'd be awesome.
Everybody makes some money.
You
Oh
know
yeah.
what? That'd be awesome. The thing is, like, we are still trying to like figure out how to break even with our business, with the
Yeah.
business we have, they're literally just us. So if that ever happens, I would love to do that. That's definitely something we need help with. That's like when I mentioned like we have
Yeah.
no shortage in ideas, but shortage in everything else. I think
Hmm.
like the things we have shortages in is one, time, and two, like the money to break even.
Yeah.
Like Mako and I, we don't like plan to make money off of this. I don't plan to ever make money off of this. And like obviously we only have one video on YouTube. It's obviously not monetized. Like but like I don't and we don't really have a dream of like making money off of this either. You know, that's not even a goal of ours. I do think we have a goal of like finding out a way to make like high quality content just as high as what we just did,
Hmm.
and not like go into the negative for it. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's
Yeah.
just not sustainable. Like, we want to figure out a way to break even, and that's something we're still figuring out. Something we've never thought of before, and that's something we didn't think of when we were sitting in the car, like brainstorming. All right, we're gonna have Devin film this. We're gonna have 4 bass drums. We're gonna be in the club. We're gonna rent it out. We're gonna have all the props. That's not what we were thinking of. We were just going, and
Yeah.
we figured it out along the way. And then we realized, like, yo, this, like, obviously, if we want Devin to do a good job, we got to compensate him because he's totally worth it. If we want a venue space, we actually gotta like rent it out for like $300. If we want this stupid stanchion prop, like
The
dude,
little
it's like
velvet rope
the
things.
gold pole with the velvet rope. I was like, oh, that'll be like $10. No, dude, it was like another $200 just to rent it for like a day.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, we gotta like put a backdrop so that the line outside looks like a club and not like a thrift store. And it's like we gotta go to Joann's and buy that. And then like Costco pizza is more expensive than it was before. And then it's like, so it's like we're super proud of it, but we're still trying to figure out a way to break even. And we are
Hmm.
like so freaking thankful to our sponsors for helping us do that. Like I couldn't like we basically we didn't break even with this project, but we did get about halfway through, which I am
But I think that it's super awesome that you guys are actually like blazing down the path here. You actually inspire me a little bit. I haven't gotten around to do it yet, but I want to go like make a bass drum music video now.
Heck
Or
yeah.
at the least like something I've thought about. I make music with a buddy of mine who's a rapper. I'll produce beats. And I've been thinking like, wait, I should definitely like take one of the beats and like promote the song by writing a Drumline music video over it. Like just boom. It's right there. I can just blend both my passions.
Yeah.
Do it.
But-
yeah, there needs to be more like bass drummer taking on more like designer roles, you know?
Well, that's why I want to promote it as much as I can with the Yeah Bass page, however I can too. It's like I want to see more people do stuff like what you guys do. I'll just share it, please. Just do it. Make the project.
Yeah, so that's another hard part. And, you know, we kind of touched on like just breaking even financially, but another really tough part of what we do that like we were not anticipating is marketing it. I mean, you know, the thing about sponsoring and stuff is that okay, well now we have like some, you know, we got to like create some value out of like what we just invested in, and I think the best way we could create value is to entertain people, and so trying to
Have you
reach the
guys-
widest audience is just like it's a hard like we're bass drummers making a video and we're really good at bass drum. We're figuring out the video part. We have no idea what we're doing with the financial part, and we also have no idea what we're doing with the marketing part. So it's like we got to figure that out too. And it's
Are you
only
both
two of
going
us.
to Dayton?
We are. Or I think Mako is still thinking about it, right?
I'm still thinking about it
Mm.
because I'm also a nurse, so I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
okay,
figure out my
that's
my scheduling. So we'll see. But Adrian will be there for sure.
Yep. Very cute.
Yeah.
I taught Pulse, right, in 23.
Mm-hmm.
We're from SoCal, both Mako and I. Mako and I are partners, okay, just in case that like wasn't clear.
Oh, nice.
We're partners, so like so I'm in Dayton with Pulse. Mako did not like I thought Mako was in California, dude. I like literally I'm clicking a rep. I turn around. I'm in Dayton, Ohio. Okay, like not in California. I'm in Dayton, Ohio. It's like the day before finals. I've been there for like a week already. I turn around and Mako is walking towards me. Like she straight up just flew to Dayton and didn't even tell me. And like I thought I was like in a fever dream or something. Like, am I in a simulation? So yeah, she might surprise me again. I don't know.
We'll
But
see.
Man, well, I feel like it would be so cool if there was some type of Gonzaco performance, either if it was in the tent or what. But you know, there's got to be space out there for something.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Dang.
Definitely do
I
that.
have to go now.
We can pull
That'd be
strings.
cool.
We have connections.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
Next year, yeah, next year.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
But here, why don't we get into this here? We actually touched on a lot of that good, like what was the best part, worst part, learning experiences. But could you guys both let me know, I guess, what your favorite, if like, can you remember one specific part of the party, if you will, that was like your favorite moment or your favorite part of the day?
There's so much that happened that day. I think that my favorite part was like seeing everybody roll in and just like we're all like hugging each other, and I was like, dude, thank you so much for coming. Dude, like, oh man, we're so excited. We don't know what the heck is about to happen, but we're ready. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited too. Like, I don't know what's about the anticipation of what was about to happen was probably my favorite part, because like seeing everyone beforehand, because it's all our homies, you know, like if you didn't notice, we got like the 2020 baseline up in there, like we got a bunch of our friends, you know, so the fact that they came to like support us in this project too was something that was really special. So seeing them and just like it was really comforting. That was definitely one of my favorite parts for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just like seeing all your friends come out to support you, and you didn't let them down either. You gave them like a bomb ass time is really cool. Gonzo, what about you?
I think my favorite moment was feeling like I forgot what my title was for this music video. It was like creative producer or something. I think that just like taking on that role the day of was my favorite part. Like I've actually like always wanted to make a music video, and I never thought I actually would. Like I took film in high school. And I think that's what started it. I was doing drumline in high school. And I was also doing like a film class. And I was really into it. And I was like, dude, I don't want to make a movie that's way too much work. That's way too. I just like I can't even watch movies. Like my attention span does not that long.
You expect me
So,
to make a movie? I don't even watch
yeah,
them.
exactly. But I love music videos, and like I'm obsessed with music videos, and I watch them all the time. And I always thought, man, in a different life, I would be like a music video director, you know?
Mm.
So that was back in high school, and now I'm 26, and I like made my first music video. I think just like taking on that role was like such a crazy moment. Like I didn't know it was gonna actually happen, and I really felt like that guy on the day of, and it was super cool. Like again, just like having ownership of your ideas and like doing it in the medium that I wanted to do it, and like I don't know, that's crazy.
It is. It's awesome to like blend all of your different passions together into like one master project, which I mean, you got many more projects to come, I assume and hope. But to like really tee it all up and get all those interests in one is something really special.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's take a little pivot here. I want to hear about something that's bothering you, something that you want to get off your chest about the marching arts. Why don't we get into this What Are We Doing segment?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? All right, awesome. So these What Are We Doing segments, I really are just wanted to hear something that you think we could do better or something we should do different. So Mako, why don't you kick us off and let us know, what are we doing?
Of course. So for me, I actually teach visual at Ayala High School, like in the fall.
Okay, nice.
So I've been doing that for about 4 years now. So obviously with that, just getting the training, because I work with Zach Carrasco, which is one of like the head people at RCC and also at Blue Devils. So lots of visual training there, but I feel like because now I have that like visual eye, like, and I know how to pay attention to like the entire picture, not just the drum line. Because before I did Vig, obviously all I would pay attention to is the drum line and the drums and the drums and the drums. But now that I can see the full picture, I just feel like visual training isn't something that's highlighted in a lot of places. And just, I don't know, I could tell when there's groups that really focus on it and there's groups that don't really focus on it. And it's just something that, like, I don't know, it kind of bothers me a little bit because it's like there's groups that could be moving better, you know, like
there are
looking a little weak, looking a little, you know, like
look,
just,
I'll call it.
Yeah, they don't
United
look,
when I was there was not moving well.
yeah.
We're trying better. We're trying harder nowadays, but it's been
But
dark on the East Coast.
you know, like you could tell when like it's especially, it's not even just like the choreography, but just marching, like crabbing. Like there are so many groups where like they just crab so badly. Like, I'm sorry, but like, it's just, I don't know. It's some things that I started to notice, and not even just like drumline, but also like full groups as well. You know, like I can tell when some horn or woodwind, even if it's like fall band, you know, you could tell when some groups don't really focus on like the fundamental basic training of how to move well, how to understand your body, and how to, you know, especially, and this is in like choreo terms too, like move your spine or move your hands, like the difference between this and like this, you know, like having those small little minute differences. That's something that, you know, starting to, you know, ruffle my feathers a little bit, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different mindset too. Like, I think even all the way up to the highest end groups, like if you're not going to focus on marching and do basics from time to time, then your students aren't going to think about it either. And then they're just going to look bad. Like, you just need to get them in the mindset of paying attention to those details.
Exactly.
And I think
that's another part of the score, you know, like you could be like, wow, we're playing so clean, we're playing so great. But then it's like, why aren't we placing well? It's like, well, maybe if you look at the visual score, that could make a difference, you know? So that's also
it's not
another
just
thing.
dots. It's also how you look the whole way from one dot to the next. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I feel like it's a hard problem, hard nut to crack, though, because over here, at least on the East Coast, it's like, eh, for better or for, well, they're really just for worse, not for better or for worse, just for worse. There's not a lot of good visual training in our high schools. So then, like, the first time that these kids get like decent visual information, oftentimes is like when you finally get to United or something like that. So
That's
it's
so
just like
true. Yeah.
tough. And oftentimes, this is something I say on the same topic all the time, too. I'm like, not literally the kid at United, but when you think about any world class snare line, like the guy that just makes it on that line is probably like someone that has been devoting their life to snare drum, not necessarily to moving well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that person that's going to barely eke in there is also probably going to be a visual tick because I just don't expect that there's someone that's like devoted their life to dance, you know?
Oh yeah, and like that's something that I had in my back pocket as well. Like I in my
True.
32
Yeah.
count intro,
Right.
I used to figure skate for 10 years, so I have that dance like movement background.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also another thing, like just having dance basics even in like the visual package is something that's super important and that really helped me kind of understand how to move my body and how to use space with my body. So that's another thing I can add on too, is just having dance foundation is something that is definitely a big advantage, I'd say.
Yeah, by the
Yeah.
way, like those choreographed moments in More Bass in the Club, that was all Mako's idea.
Nice.
And like I think that made like I love the pacing of how it fits into the music video. Something about a music video and the music industry, it's not always just about the music. That's why there's like a video for it. And so Mako did a really good job of like making More Bass in the Club unique by incorporating everything she's talking about. And I really think that really made the video to me. That's like my favorite part now is choreography in it. So
Yeah. No, that's super cool because it's like the same thing we were saying about like doing your passion in a music video project, like Mako getting to write visual into the music video is like being true to the marching arts and also just being true to what you like. So that's awesome. Not the lack of visual expertise at many programs and schools, particularly on my side of the country, but all the other Vish stuff is cool. Gonzo, what's your What Are We Doing?
What are we doing to support these independent projects from blossoming into I would say the success of Gonzaco going into the future is really going to depend on whether or not we could break even. At this point, like we do this because we have really big ideas, and um, that's kind of like Mako and I's personality. Is if we're gonna commit to something, like we're gonna commit to it, and we want to do things of all different at all different levels. I mean, we want to do our best to do like our own do it yourself videos and a little bit more like just iPhone camera videos, like just some chill drumming videos.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have like we want to have like in a relative sense like lower tier videos, mid tier videos, and then every so often do like these top of the line high tier videos that we just did with More Bass in the Club.
Yeah.
That's like really what we want to do, but that all depends on whether or not we could find a way to break even, with these like creative projects. And so right now, I'm just kind of we're kind of having a hard time figuring out who we can reach out to to help us um, fulfill like that need that we have, both in the financial aspect and also in the marketing aspect. Like we really have nowhere to look, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas let's say like Taylor Swift has like a whole bunch of options to look for, or like just like or like a rapper like coming up has like a lot to look towards, like with record deals and stuff. I mean, there's not really like a record deal that Mako and I are looking for. We have
Right.
like our own personal ways of like making a living. Mako's a nurse. I just graduated school. So this is something we really want to make happen apart from like our real lives. but that totally depends on like just how much support we can get from the community. So I would say, what are we doing with that?
I definitely think it's going to take a lot of creative thought. I mean, if I were you guys, just to bring it back to my Eagles drumline and professional band experience, I think like maybe even just the two of you figuring out how you can make Gonzaco a marketable, giggable entity might be a way that you can start making some money back that's not necessarily just sponsorships.
Yeah.
Gonna take a lot of thinking to think who would
I don't
book
have the
Gonzaco
answer.
and for what. You
I
don't
don't
have
have
the
the
answers yet.
Yeah.
But definitely a bright road ahead for you guys to get that
Great
figured
job,
out.
everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
All right, cool. So Gush and Go is pretty quick and easy. My Gush and Go this week is I just got done my first competition weekend with United for the year. We little late for our first show, but we got to take what we get with the show schedule out here. We were up in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, in their gym in the holy mecca of East Coast WGI. And it went really well. My bass kids did really good. It's my second year teaching now, so I feel pretty locked in and sturdy, especially with my vets, I was going to say. But yeah, it's cool. It feels like the WGI season gets so much more real the second you hit a regional. And that's about all that's new with me. But Mako, what do you want to gush and go on about?
I trying to think right now, but I'm just gonna gush and go about just the end of the season. It's coming up. I just want to just pay my cheers and my support to all the groups out there. I know right now it's like in the thick of the season. Everyone's ramping up to get to their final products, and Dayton's coming up soon. So I just want to express my graces, my good lucks to all the groups out there. I'm not teaching anywhere right now, but I live vicariously through Adrian with RCC. So obviously I'm giving a little bit more flowers there, giving them my support. But yeah, just having a good time watching and enjoying everyone, getting better and seeing the final product. So good lucks to everyone out there.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck extends over here. And Gonzo, what are you going to gush and go on about?
This is my first year teaching RCC. And I've learned like just so much being back in this environment, and working with the staff at this level is just like so different than anything that I've ever done. And so like I feel like I'm learning so much, like a water hose of information, like every day I'm there. It's like a really tough responsibility, but it's like really challenging, just like on me, just like me putting the pressure on myself. But now coming to the end, it's like I'm really just focused on maximizing everything that I could learn, on like what I could do better, and how I could grow for next year. And so that's kind of what I'm gonna gush and go about, just like pushing all the way to the end, and staying humble and just doing everything I can to like contribute now and learn in the future. So I'm really excited for RCC. It's been a really, really fun time. I'm super honored to be there.
Nice.
Hey, it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
All right. Well, thank you both for a great rehearsal this week. Tell us where we could find you guys on social media.
So you can find us on YouTube and Instagram, both under gonzaco.projects. Just keep an eye out for us. There's more ideas in the gauntlet that are coming. We don't know how long it's going to be, but we'll be back. Don't you worry. So just keep an eye out for us.
Nice. Yeah, so give them a follow. You could check out, the Yeah Bass page as well. I'll share anything that they put there, as well as, a lot of great bass drum content on my own. And if you've got a good question or a good topic to talk about, you could email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com, or find us on social media and DM us if you want to be on the show. We've got a form now you could fill out if you want to be a guest, and we love having people on the podcast. So just check it out at the link in our bio on social media, or you could just take out your phone. You can make a video, send it to us. You might see yourself on the podcast soon. One more thing, we've also got a YouTube channel now, so go ahead, subscribe. You can see all of our lovely faces and other shenanigans. And before you close out, of your podcast listening app. Please subscribe, write us a review, and share it with a friend. You could follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.